You might be wondering how someone like me finds the motivation to keep eating healthy. So today I'm going to tell you how I do it. So I know that for a lot of people, eating healthy consistently just doesn't feel like something that can happen. Maybe they feel like, there are a few people who can do that, but they're the minority and I'm over here and that's just not gonna happen for me. Or maybe they've tried healthy eating and it's lasted for a short amount of time, but then they just go back to whatever they were doing before and it never really sticks. It never becomes a habit or a lifestyle. So with that in mind, I thought it would be fun to share with you some of the things that work for me and how I make this whole thing happen. So the first thing I do is I eat yummy food. And this is really important because there's this big misconception out there that healthy food automatically tastes gross and that if something tastes good, then there's no way that it could be healthy. But that simply isn't true. This is an equal opportunity situation here. So every food gets to stand on its own, and any one food might taste great to you or it might not taste so great to you, and that has nothing to do with how healthy it is. And I think there are a couple reasons why a lot of people think healthy food doesn't taste good or shouldn't taste good. One of those is because for a lot of people, healthy eating is just a very narrow view as far as what food options are available, what preparation options are available. For a lot of people, healthy eating looks like poached chicken breast, steamed broccoli, and brown rice. And there's nothing wrong with those foods, but if you're limiting yourself to just a few options, not having that variety is going to get boring. And also, when you're limiting yourself to bland foods, you're not throwing in herbs and spices and different things to flavor your food, then yeah, it's probably not going to taste great and it's gonna get boring. And then also to go along with that, another thing that comes in for a lot of people, I think, is that healthy eating is kind of a form of punishment for a lot of people. So it's the idea that we eat healthy because we've been bad or because we don't like the way we look or we don't like the number we see on the scale and we want to change something about our bodies. So people have that connection, which kind of taints healthy eating. And also I think a lot of people choose to go the bland route or not have the variety when they're eating healthy because of that punishment thing. Like they don't want to allow themselves to enjoy the food because that's part of it, is that they shouldn't enjoy the food. So as you can see, this can get pretty complicated, and depending on your situation, you might have to work to tease out some of those things that you might think about food and healthy eating. But ultimately, I'm here to tell you that healthy food and delicious food can definitely be the same thing. The next thing I do is I don't restrict. So for a lot of people, again, healthy eating is tied up with dieting. And dieting is all about restricting your food, whether that's restricting the overall amount that you eat or restricting certain categories like carbs or fat. But I don't do that. So I don't base the amount of food I eat or what I eat on what I should or shouldn't do. It's all about what I know is going to make my body feel good and listening to what my body needs. Now, of course, I have a rough idea of how much food I'll need just based on personal experience. We all have that. We kind of know how much is usually the right amount, but at the same time, that isn't a rule I have to follow. So every day is different, and what my body needs is going to be a little different depending on the day. So some days I might need a little more food than usual. I might need a little less food than usual. Maybe I really feel like I need more of one category or less of another, but that's not about following guidelines. It's just about listening. And also, maybe one day I didn't have a ton of veggies, and so then the next day I really feel like I'm craving a giant salad. It's all about just paying attention to what my body is saying and not letting something else dictate how much I eat. The other thing I do is I don't eliminate. So I don't cut out huge categories of food from my life and put them on the no-no list. And because I don't put foods in this can't eat or shouldn't eat category, then that means that I can eat whatever I want. And so that means I don't get in a situation where this food that's not allowed gets put up on a pedestal and I'm just trying to resist and resist and resist, even if my body is telling me that I really need that right now, or maybe I just really want it right now. And then that food starts to have even more allure and it sets up this tension and it's this whole thing where you and this food are fighting back and forth. I don't have that because anything's available, anything's an option, and so then that means that I am able to just listen to what my body is telling me and I don't have this other stuff start to come into that. Something else I do is I don't think of healthy eating as something that I'm starting or stopping, because that's again something that comes from a diet mentality. Someone who's used to dieting might think of healthy eating, this begins here and then it ends whenever I reach whatever goal I'm trying to achieve with this diet, or it ends when I fall off and eat the foods that aren't allowed. Instead, I think of healthy eating as something that's a lot more big picture and something that kind of ebbs and flows. And so that means when I choose to eat a cupcake, a food that most people think of as being unhealthy, I don't see it as the healthy eating ending and this other unhealthy eating thing beginning. It's all just part of the whole big picture of healthy eating. That cupcake is still healthy eating. It's still part of my overall lifestyle and a part of how I balance my plate, listen to my body, and what it needs. So it's never about this like getting on the wagon and getting off and like flipping back and forth. It's just all this fluid thing that's always happening and that I'm always doing. And as you can see, a lot of this stuff is more about changing your perspective on what healthy eating and healthy food really is. And it's something that a lot of us have to work on because we're constantly being bombarded with all of these diety messages that become so ingrained in how we think about food. But I'm here to tell you, even though it does take some work sometimes to work through that stuff, it is totally worth it. And if you have any other tips for managing a healthy lifestyle and healthy eating and fitting all that stuff into with everything else that you're doing in your life, then definitely leave those in the comments because I would love to hear them and I know other people would love to hear them too. And if you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you are new here and you want more healthy eating tips and nutrition info and healthy recipes, then make sure that you subscribe because eating healthy and living a healthy lifestyle really doesn't have to be complicated, and I want to show you how to do it. Thanks for watching. I hope you're having a great day, and I'll talk to you next time.